I'd been driving for hours when I found the bridge. It wasn't on any map. The GPS showed nothing but a winding dirt road threading through thick woods, the path narrowing until branches clawed at the sides of the car. Just when I thought I'd have to turn around, the trees parted and there it was, an old iron bridge spanning a narrow, dark river. I couldn't see what lay beyond, but the road continued on the other side, so I crossed. The bridge groaned under the weight of the car, metal shifting slightly with each rotation of the tires. I glanced down into the water, murky, swirling, reflecting nothing. The surface rippled gently, but there was no wind. The air changed as I reached the midpoint. It thickened, grew heavy like the humidity after a storm, but colder. My skin prickled. The dashboard lights flickered, dimming to almost nothing before flaring back to life. The car shuddered, tires slipping slightly as though the metal beneath them had momentarily softened. Then the air snapped back. I reached the far side of the bridge. The road ahead was straight and clear, flanked by low grass and scattered trees. I pulled over, shaking slightly, heart racing. Took a few deep breaths. Then I turned to look back. The bridge was gone. Not collapsed, not hidden by the bend of the road. It had simply vanished. The road behind me ended in a sheer drop into the river below, except the water wasn't there either. Just blackness, a flat, featureless expanse where the river and the bridge had been. I scrambled from the car, stumbling to the edge. I expected vertigo, but there was nothing to feel, just a sense of wrongness. The ground was solid beneath me, but it didn't feel like earth. It felt thin, brittle. I called out. The sound was swallowed immediately, muffled as though I'd shouted into a thick, wet cloth. No echo, no birds, no insects, just silence, dense and absolute. I turned back toward the car, but the tires had sunk slightly into the ground. Black grains clung to the rubber, the same as the sand from before. My heart raced faster. I checked my phone, no signal. The battery drained from 70% to 0 in an instant. I had no choice. I got back into the car and drove forward. The road remained smooth, but the sky darkened incrementally with every mile, the trees thinning until there was nothing but flat, empty fields stretching in all directions. I glanced into the rearview mirror. There was no road behind me, only the dark, seamless expanse. My hands trembled on the wheel. I tried to turn around, but the car resisted, the tires locking as though I'd driven onto invisible rails. I pressed harder, but the steering refused to yield. Ahead, in the distance, I saw movement, a figure. Small at first, then growing larger as I approached, though the road itself didn't seem to shorten the distance. The figure stood at the edge of the road, motionless, silhouetted against the dimming sky. It raised a hand. The air thickened again, vibrating softly, resonating in my bones. The dashboard lights flickered once more, then died completely. The engine sputtered. I pressed the brake, but the car continued rolling forward, slow and steady. The figure stepped into the road. It wasn't a person, not exactly. Its shape was human but wrong, limbs too long, head tilted at an unnatural angle, as though it was studying me from a perspective I couldn't comprehend. Its skin was pale, almost translucent, with faint lines crisscrossing its surface like a map etched into flesh. I stopped breathing. The figure's mouth didn't move, but I heard it speak directly into my thoughts. "You've crossed." The tires locked. The car stopped. I tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. The windows wouldn't roll down. The figure pressed its hand against the windshield, long fingers, too many joints, nails that shimmered like metal. The glass darkened around its touch, rippling outward like a drop in still water. "You can't go back." The sky above shimmered, distorting like heat waves, revealing faint patterns, circles, spirals, lines that intersected and shifted subtly. The figure stepped back and the car began to move again. But not because I touched the pedals. I was being pulled forward, deeper. The bridge wasn't just gone. It had never existed. Behind me, the world had folded in on itself, leaving only this road, this figure, and the horizon that darkened incrementally with every mile. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I crossed into. But the figure walks just ahead of the car now, leading the way. Its hand raised, beckoning me forward. And in the distance, I hear the faint, familiar hum of metal and water, merging into a voice that whispers not into my ears, but into my mind. Almost home. The figure has been walking ahead of me for what feels like days. The sky is darker now, but not like nightfall. There's no sun setting, no stars waiting to emerge. It's a thick, oppressive twilight that presses down on everything, turning the landscape into a flat smear of shadow and ash. The road beneath the tires hums faintly, vibrating through the chassis of the car like the strings of some vast unseen instrument. I've stopped trying to steer. The wheel is locked. The pedals are dead. The car moves forward with a mind of its own, following the figure ahead as it glides over the cracked asphalt. Its limbs are too fluid, its head tilts at angles that make my stomach churn. Every few moments it glances back, not with curiosity, but with a deliberate, patient acknowledgement. The road itself has changed. The markings are gone. The edges blur into the surrounding landscape, which has become flat and featureless, like a canvas painted with a single smudged brushstroke. There are no trees now, no fields, just an endless plain of gray, interrupted only by the faint ripples of the road stretching into the distance. And the sky. It pulses. The patterns I noticed before have become clearer, circles, lines, shapes that twist into each other like clockwork. They shimmer faintly, their glow synchronizing with the hum that fills the car. The air feels thick with static, each breath heavy with the taste of metal and ozone. I checked the rearview mirror again. The figure wasn't there, but then, impossibly, it appeared in the mirror, seated in the back seat, its head tilted forward too close to mine. Its hand reached out, pale and jointed like segmented machinery, brushing the back of my head so gently it felt like a static charge. I couldn't scream. The hum grew louder, deepening into a layered chorus of voices, all murmuring in perfect unison. I couldn't make out the words, but they pressed into my thoughts, leaving imprints that made my skin crawl. The figure in the back seat whispered, a voice made of many. "You've crossed too far." I slammed on the brakes, but the car didn't stop. It accelerated. The landscape ahead shimmered, the road warping and folding into itself like a tunnel collapsing in slow motion. I turned the wheel with all my strength, but it spun uselessly in my hands. The figure in the back seat leaned closer, its head brushing against my shoulder. Its skin was dry, paper thin, with dark veins pulsing just beneath the surface. "You can't go back. You can only go through." The front windshield rippled. Patterns spread across the glass like frost forming in reverse, etching unfamiliar symbols that pulsed with a faint light. The hum reached a crescendo, the layered voices rising until they were almost song. I closed my eyes. The car lurched forward. When I opened them again, I wasn't on the road anymore. The car sat motionless in a vast, empty space. The sky above was a seamless gray like the inside of a cloud. There was no ground beneath the tires, just a faint reflection of the car itself, like a mirror surface stretching infinitely in every direction. The figure stood outside the car now, waiting. It extended a hand, its fingers curled gently, inviting. "Come." The hum settled into a low, steady pulse matching my heartbeat. My thoughts weren't my own anymore. They wove into the rhythm of the place, merging with the pulse until I couldn't remember where my mind ended and the hum began. I opened the door. The air outside was thick, not with scent or temperature, but with intention, like stepping into a thought that had been waiting for me all along. I placed my foot on the surface. It held me, though it felt like stepping onto liquid glass. The figure stood before me, still watching with eyes that weren't eyes, but openings into something deeper. Behind me, the car dissolved. Not melted, not broken, just ceased, as though it had never been real, only a placeholder for my presence in this place. The figure stepped aside, revealing a path, a narrow line of faintly glowing symbols stretching forward into the gray expanse. Almost home. The words weren't a whisper now. They were a certainty, a memory I hadn't known I was missing. I took a step forward. The hum deepened, resonating through me, aligning my pulse, my breath, my thoughts. The path stretched ahead, infinite, inevitable, and I followed.